You're listening to the Women's Wealth Canada podcast with Glory Gray. Be sure to download and subscribe using your favorite podcast app and like us on Facebook.
Are you going through a life transition and need to find a wealth advisor to manage your investments? You don't have to feel discouraged wondering how to find the right one. Grab my free guide, 12 Smart Questions to Ask When Interviewing a Wealth Advisor. This guide gives you all the questions and why you should ask them. Just go to glorygray.com, pop in your email address, and we'll send it right to your inbox. Welcome to Women's Wealth Canada, the show where we help Canadian women like you take control of their money and build your life your way. I'm your host, Glory Gray, financial planner and wealth manager. Today, we're kicking off a two-part series on workplace pensions, from your working years to your retirement years. Now, if you're working, contributing to a pension plan, or thinking about your retirement future, you're going to want to stick with us for both episodes. Today, we're starting at the very beginning of your journey, and it's going to set you up for what's coming next. So grab your tea, maybe a notebook if you're a keener like me, and let's walk through the first half of the journey, from your working years to leaving your job, to figuring out what the heck a LIRA is. Yes, we are going there. So let's start with the basics. If you're working for an employer with a pension plan, first of all, congratulations. That's becoming more and more rare these days. You likely have one of two kinds of pensions: a defined benefit plan or a defined contribution plan. You'll notice that nowhere did I mention the term RRSP. An RRSP is a type of account or basket where you can put away money into investments in a tax-advantaged way to prepare for your retirement. That's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about workplace pensions. They're a whole other animal, regulated in a different way. In Canada, some employers do offer both group RRSPs and workplace pensions, and it's great when they do. But today we're just talking about pensions, either defined benefit plans or defined contribution plans. The first type of plan your employer may offer is a defined benefit plan. These plans promise you a certain amount of retirement income based on some sort of criteria, such as your salary and how long you've worked there. This can feel really comforting because you know exactly what you're getting when you retire. With this type of pension plan, your employer contributes money into the pension plan for you. And there are certain limits to how much they can contribute, but we don't need to get into that here. You don't need to pay tax on that money that they contribute, which is a great benefit to you. But the amount they contribute does reduce the total amount you have available to deposit into your RRSP at the end of the year. This amount that your employer deposits is deducted from your available RRSP contribution room, and it's called a pension adjustment. It'll be reported on your T4. So if you ever hear that term, pension adjustment, that's what they're talking about. Now, some defined benefit plans also allow or require you to contribute to the plan as well. And you may have a choice about how much you can contribute. The amount you contribute will also show on your paycheck and T4, and that amount that you contribute is deductible from your taxes as long as you have RRSP contribution room. The second type of plan is a defined contribution plan. And these are the types of plans where you and your employer contribute to an investment fund, and the amount you'll have when you retire depends on how well those investments perform. Your paycheck deductions and taxation for those defined contribution plans work much the same way as the defined benefit plans. The biggest difference between the two types of plans is that with a defined contribution plan, you don't know what your retirement income is going to be. A financial planner can make some estimates for you based on your age and how much money is being deposited into the plan, but it will only be an estimate. So which plan do you have? If you want to find out which type of pension plan you have, your employer's pension administrator will have all the documents you need. Start with your payroll department or HR benefits department and ask them how you get in touch with the pension administrator for your pension plan documents. Now, if you work for a government or a large union, there's probably a website available to you with all the information. Okay, so you're working at your job, you're building your pension plan, things are going great, when suddenly life happens. Maybe you got a great offer at another company or another province if you're working for the government. What happens to your pension now? The choices you have will depend on the type of pension you have. If you have a defined benefit pension, you'll want to refer to your pension documents to see what your options are. You'll likely have one of three options. Number one, if you've reached an age where the documents say you can start receiving a pension, you can go ahead and start receiving your lifetime pension income. The amount you receive will likely be dependent on several factors, but that will be explained in the documents. The second option will be to keep the money in your old company's pension plan and let it grow until you retire and then take your retirement income. The risk to that is what happens if the company is not in existence many years from now? What happens if the pension runs out of money? The third option is the most common, and that is to transfer the value of the pension plan into a special account that you own. The pension administrator will tell you what that lump sum value, which is called the commuted value, will be. And you will then work with your financial advisor to have that lump sum deposited into a LIRA, a locked-in retirement account, and we'll go over those in a bit. That's what happens if you have a defined benefit pension plan and you leave your job. But what if you have a defined contribution plan? In that case, you would turn again to your plan administrator to find out how much of a lump sum you are entitled to. Then, depending on what your pension plan allows, you will likely have the option to do one of two things. Either purchase an annuity contract that starts paying you an income now or in the future, or transfer that lump sum into you guessed it, a LIRA. Wait, what's a LIRA? Let's talk about this because if you've ever left a job where you had a pension, chances are you already have one, even if you didn't realize it. A LIRA stands for Locked In Retirement Account, and the key word here is locked in. When you leave a job that offers a defined benefit or defined contribution plan pension, and you decide to take a lump sum with you, that pension money has to go somewhere. And for most people, especially if you're under a certain age, it gets transferred into a LIRA. Now, here's the important part. Once it's in a LIRA, you can't just withdraw the money whenever you feel like it. That's where the locked-in part comes from. It's legally protected to make sure that you're using it for what it was originally intended, for retirement income. So how is a LIRA different from, say, an RRSP? Well, with an RRSP, you're allowed to contribute to it every year. And while there are tax implications, you can technically withdraw money from it any time. It's flexible. You can grow it, you can use it, and you can plan around it. A LIRA, on the other hand, is a different beast. You can't contribute more money to it. It's a one-time deposit from your pension plan. Now, you can invest the funds that are inside it, and ideally you want those investments to grow over time. But you can't add to it, and you can't take money out until you reach a specific age. And even then, you don't just cash it out. You usually convert it into a LIF, or a life income fund, or possibly a life annuity, which then starts paying you regular retirement income. So if you're thinking of taking time off work or retiring early, and you're eyeing that LIRA like it's a backup savings account, hold that thought. It's not accessible for short-term needs. It's meant to be part of your long-term retirement plan. Now, here's a little teaser for the next episode. There are some special circumstances where a LIRA can be unlocked early. Things like financial hardship, a very small account balance, or a shortened life expectancy. And yes, those rules can vary depending on your pension plan and what province has jurisdiction over that plan. So here's what you can do now while you're still working. Number 1, find out what pension plans are available to you and how much you can contribute to them in addition to your employer's contributions. If it's a defined contribution pension plan, research the investments available to make sure you get the return on investment you want. Number 2, check your pension paperwork. Does your plan offer a commuted value option? Can that be transferred to a LIRA? Number 3, find out what province has jurisdiction over your pension plan. Sometimes it's not a province at all, it's the federal government. This information will be in your pension documents, and it's going to be important in determining what choices you'll have when you leave your job and when you start receiving income. And lastly, start planning early. If you're in your 50s, this is the time to start thinking about how and when you want to access this money. Again, your pension documents will be very important here. And above all, get professional advice. A financial planner who understands locked-in pensions can walk you through the best options for you, your retirement timeline, and your tax situation. That's it for today's episode of Women's Wealth Canada. I hope this gave you some clarity on what happens to your pension when you leave work and how a LIRA fits into your retirement roadmap. In our next episode, we're going to dive into the second half of the journey, how to convert your LIRA into income, and what strategies you can use to make your retirement money last. I want to let you know that our office is accepting new clients right now. So if you live in Canada and want professional help building a custom financial strategy just for you, go to glorygray.com and get in touch with me. We help families all across Canada and would welcome the opportunity to meet you and see if we can help. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another Canadian, someone who deserves to feel just as empowered and capable in her financial life as you do. Until next time, I'm Glory Gray, your personal trainer for financial fitness, telling you to take charge of your finances, plan for the future, but most of all, enjoy today, and bye for now.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment, tax, or legal advice. It is not an offer to sell or buy, or an endorsement, recommendation, or sponsorship of any entity or security cited. Mutual funds offered through Portfolio Strategies Corporation. Other products and services provided through Glory Gray Wealth Solutions.